I'm Roy, and this is the story of owning and sailing my Moody 31 yacht, Mistress Q. Based at Instow on the North Devon coast, it is the highs and lows of cruising in the Bristol Channel and beyond, where every passage is a new adventure. My passage to the Channel Islands for the Army Sailing Association's summer rally was divided into 3 legs. Leg 1 from Instow on the North Devon coast via Land's End to Falmouth, Leg 2 the passage from Falmouth to Plymouth, and Leg 3 across the English Channel to the Channel Islands. Planning the passage and getting the best weather window was critical, as ideally we wanted some north or easterly wind to assist the long 90-mile leg from Instow down to Land's End. The weather for Monday the 18th of August looked favourable, but would be challenging after rounding Land's End for Mounts Bay and the Lizard before reaching our first stop in Falmouth. Joining me for Leg 1 to Plymouth were Neil and Simon from North Devon Yacht Club. We slipped from Instow on a rather grey afternoon, not at all promising for the start of our 30-hour passage to Falmouth, and waved goodbye to family on Appledore Quay. After the obligatory crew photo, we sailed south across Bideford Bay, passing Hartland Point before enjoying a very welcome curry prepared by Simon and preparing for our night watches. With 2 hours on and 4 off, it meant we all got some sleep as we continued southwest along the North Cornwall coast to Land's End. If we needed to divert for any reason, Padstow is a safe haven, but is not ideal for a southbound passage where we wanted to maximise the benefit of the ebbing tides to reach the Longship's Light and Tidal Gate off Land's End. Early morning was greeted with more dolphins escorting us, and of course you can't have too many dolphin shots in these videos. We arrived off Longship's Light exactly at 0800 as planned and at slack water to catch the incoming tide, helping us across Mounts Bay and past the Lizard Point. It was time for a small celebration with bacon rolls and coffee. Even with the tide assisting us, the easterly wind was right on the nose, and after spending some time tacking into it, we decided to motor to make sure we arrived at Falmouth before the marina office closed and we could secure a berth for the night. We arrived off Falmouth in the middle of a racing fleet of dinghies and gig boats to make our final approach more interesting than planned. We completed the passage in 29 hours at an average speed of 4.3 knots. By the time we arrived at Falmouth Haven Marina, the fuel berth was closed and we rafted up alongside a very smart Harburg Rassi 34 flying a Royal Naval Sailing Association Burgee. The immaculately attired skipper eyed us critically, looking at a tired and slightly dishevelled crew from North Devon, noting that we were not flying the appropriate ASA Burgee and that he would be having a word with my Commodore. A quick shower and evening meal in the chain locker restored our spirits as we tiptoed back across the deck of our neighbour and planned the next leg of our passage to Plymouth. Next morning in Falmouth, as part of our engine checks, we discovered a real problem. In fact, 3 of the 4 engine mount nuts had vibrated not just loose but completely off the bolt that holds them to the engine mount. I'd been experiencing more engine vibration than usual after having the engine mounts replaced in the spring, and the result could stop our passage. Fortunately, we managed to find the nuts had vibrated free and effected a quick fix to allow us to continue to Plymouth. Having refuelled at Falmouth, we headed out into Carrick Roads and past St Anthony Head, setting course for Plymouth some 42 miles to the east, which should take around 9 hours at 5 knots average speed. The sun came out and the shorts came on for what was a very rewarding sail along the south coast to Plymouth. We arrived in Plymouth in the late afternoon and after topping up our diesel tank found our berth in Plymouth Yacht Haven before celebrating our safe arrival with dinner on the terrace overlooking the marina. Thanks to Neil and Simon for joining me on this passage. See you again soon, guys. Join me again in part 2 for the passage to the Channel Islands.